So the non-dual teaching is very simple. It is about peace, truth, and happiness. It's about the revelation of the peace that we are, the revelation of the truth that we are, the revelation of the freedom that we are, not as human body minds, but as consciousness. The contemplation of the non-dual teaching is the contemplation of truth, the contemplation of reality. It starts with an interest in truth, an interest in what is the reality, what's going on here, what is it, what is happening, what am I, what is this phenomenal appearance, what is its reality, what is it about? These sorts of questions are innate within us because they're questions that lead us to happiness. I say they lead us to happiness because although what we truly are is happiness, is peace and happiness, is freedom, it's innate joy, innate beauty, innate love, somehow we have, via our identification with a human form, via our identification with a culture, via our identification with family, via our identification with a belief structure, the core identification being identified with the body-mind. Via this identification, we have moved away from the freedom, moved away from the happiness that we are. Upon our identification with a mortal body-mind, the seed of mortality, the concern, the worry, the sense of lack, what's going to happen to me, what's happening to me, will I be happy, what will make me happy in the world? All these questions and concerns come hand in hand upon our forgetfulness. The forgetfulness is forgetting that what we truly are is consciousness. In this very moment, what hears these words, what the reality, the truth, the reality of this moment, of this perception, is forgotten. And instead, we follow the senses. We follow the senses into the world, looking for worldly experiences. We follow the senses into the mind, looking for images. And we follow the senses into the body, looking for feelings and sensations. But whatever we discover in the world body-mind is limited, is temporal. You experience it for a while, and then it dissolves and it's gone. And the peace and the happiness that you experienced at that moment of union with the object that you were seeking also is gone, and now you are seeking the next object. Anyways, in the non-dual understanding, you really can simply recognize that what you are is whole and complete, that you are the peace, you are the formless, boundaryless, edgeless, limitless presence, universal consciousness, universal presence. In that deep understanding, because it's not enough to understand it intellectually, it has to be experientially revealed. In that deep understanding, that deep experiential understanding, all the personal concerns are absent, dissolve in your recognition of your universality. So if you can just right now turn your attention not to what you are perceiving, but turn your attention to the awareness that perceives. Turn your attention to the peace, to the vastness, to the borderless presence. Allow whatever is arising to arise freely, without any interest in changing anything. Simply recognizing the presence that is, the effortless presence that has no particular location, that has no limitation. Recognize this presence and rest as that. Allow whatever arises, whatever thoughts arise, whatever bodily sensations that arise. Allow them to be in their complete freedom, in your complete freedom, the freedom that you are. The freedom that is untouched by any thought, by any perception, by any sensation. Like the dreamer in dreams, all the night dreams, all sorts of mind, night perceptions, night dreams arise. But the dreamer is untouched, unstirred, unaffected by whatever arises in the dream. Remain as that, pure presence. Presence does not discriminate, it's there. If it's a sunny day or a rainy day, presence is unaffected, untouched. And this presence that hears these words right now is aware. It's an aware presence. It is aware of whatever it perceives. It's aware of the world, body, mind. But it's also self-aware. It's aware that it is aware. It's peace, freedom. And what you truly are is this peace. What you truly are is this freedom, this beauty, this love. What sometimes is referred to as true nature or Buddha nature or the self is peace, inherent peace and happiness that has no personal quality to it. If you have any questions, anything that you want to address, you can share it now or write it in the chat box or just simply speak it, and we can together look at your question. Whatever it is, it could be a question about the contemplation of truth, or it could be a question in your life, in relationships, whatever is arising for you is significant. If it's calling your attention, then you give it your attention. Hello, Ananda. So you write once in a while?
This is a poem.
Okay.
I wanted you to read the little poem. I've been
yes.
sort of contemplating it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll read it because maybe not everybody's seeing it. Once in a while, I just let time wear on, leaning against a solitary pine, standing speechless, as does the whole universe. Ah, who can share the solitude with me? It's beautiful. Yes,
So,
Ryokan, it's beautiful. You know, the solitude that Ryokan mentions in this poem is a wholeness. It's a fullness. It's not a solitude in the aloneness, but it's a solitude in the meaning of all oneness, all oneness. And we all share this beautiful solitude at the heart level. Because at the heart level, there are no distinctions whatsoever. It's just one borderless presence, one borderless love, one borderless presence. And so the invitation is to come to the heart, is to trust the heart and live from that dimension, not from sentimentality, but from that deep love that knows no other, that recognizes everybody as oneself. Once in a while, I just let time wear on. Yes, just let it. Let it. Do not carry the burdens of time. Do not carry any burdens, the burdens of the world, body, mind. Once in a while, I just let time wear on. Leaning against a solitary pine, standing speechless, as does the whole universe.
That line, as does the whole universe, I didn't know exactly how to. I mean,
well, it depends. You can look at the birds that are chirping. You say, oh, well, they are not standing silent, you know.
No.
Standing speechless.
But as a whole, it's like the heart you were talking about.
Yes, as the whole. Like at the core of any manifestation, there is the unmanifest. At the core of any expression, there is peace and stillness. At the heart of all form is the formlessness of consciousness. So at the core of all speech is silence, stillness. Like a string, you know, when you stroke a string and it vibrates. This vibration is just this silence that's just taking on the form of sound.
Mm.
So it's the recognition of the stillness, which is the truth of all appearances, that liberates the attachment to the form. Because when there is a recognition of that which is formless, the reality of the formless that is appearing as all forms, then the concern about forms relaxes in the recognition of the formless.
Beautiful. It's like a miracle. Well,
yes, it's all a miracle. It's all a miracle. Our night dreams, looking at the forest, the breath, perception, being here together. It's an utter mystery and an awesome one. And it's very lovely when the peace in the heart has bloomed.
I've been noticing that with a good hug, when two hearts are together, it really feels like one heart. It feels like one spacious.
Well, the heart has no borders, Ananda. When the heart is shining, there is no other heart. It's all one heart. So at the heart level, there are no hearts. just one heart. Meaning at the consciousness level, at the truth level. Because by heart we of course are not meaning the organ heart, we're not talking about sentimentalities or feeling that refer to a person. We're talking about the love, we're talking about love.
It's just one of those magic things that the heart and the chest seems to be somehow extremely good poetry for that heart that you're talking about.
Yes,
somehow.
it's so close, and in a way, like in the human form, we come together and we hug our arms, embrace each other, and then it's chest to chest, heart to heart. You see, so it's at the physiological level, there is that connection at the organ heart is more like the center, the heart center, not so much. It's a heart center, and as the mind becomes clear and quiet in its concerns and doubts and worries, then it dissolves. It becomes clear, and then it dissolves in the heart, and then the heart blooms. So it's a relax. It's like the energetic flow from that part of the body to the heart, and then and then the energetic fields, the lower levels also come and rest. They find their peace in the heart.
Ah, yeah. That's beautiful. Yeah. Been reading that for years. Ramana talking about thought comes to peace in the heart. I thought comes to peace.
Yes, because at the mind level, it's always divisive. It's me, my worries, me in time, me and the other. And there is the unhappiness that comes from the identification. The mind takes it on as the mind's task to solve the problem. But the mind does not exist without the I.
Or the problem.
Well, when we referring to problem, we're only referring to separation, to the belief that I'm immortal body mind. So the mind that tries to seek a solution forgets its master, forgets that the mind is known, that you are the knower of the mind, you are the knower of thoughts, you're the knower of perception. And the peace cannot come to the mind if it's not granted by the Lord. It has to be granted by the master. So you grant the peace to the mind, and you grant the peace to the mind by inviting the mind to recognize that its reality is you. The mind perceives its reality to be itself, and it's out there saying, I'm real, and I'm out there, I'm going to solve the problem, I'm going to find the problem, I'm going to find a better relationship, I'm going to find a better job, I'm going to find a better experience, I'm going to find enlightenment, etc. But the mind, the core virus in the mind is that the mind believes itself to be real. But you are the knower of the mind, so you bring the mind home. You tell the mind, you tap the mind on the shoulder, you say, hey, I am thy master. And when the mind turns itself to you, it sees consciousness. This is metaphoric. I'm speaking metaphorically, yes? Okay.
Then the thoughts and I've been noticing this too, the thoughts having a different quality, just kind of more transparent or more...
Yeah,
benign or something.
the substance of thoughts is consciousness, because thoughts are known via consciousness. So they have to come to consciousness to take on the recognition. A thought without consciousness has no recognition, is not
Right.
recognized.
Right.
And without recognition, a thought is nothing. So when the thought comes to consciousness, it gets its recognition. And its recognition is granted by consciousness. So it's consciousness that gives the thought its its existence.
Mm-hmm.
So the consciousness, which is beingness, creates. It gives existence to thought. It gives
Mm-hmm.
existence to form.
Mm-hmm.
So existence is the formless, meaning beingness appearing. Beingness appearing. But in the return, when appearance, when existence returns to beingness, then it remerges, it merges back into beingness, and it recognizes itself as being. It recognizes itself as being. It ceases to be existence and returns to being.
Mm-hmm.
And beingness is formless, eternal, infinite, while form, meaning existence, is in time, it has a form and has a space and time limit to it. But its substance, the substance of mind, the substance of phenomena, is the non-phenomenal. And the non-phenomenal is consciousness. In this very moment, the perception that you perceive, it is perceived via you meaning consciousness.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just like to say this is kind of hard to put in words a little bit, but thought being perceived and not being a perceiver. Consciousness alone perceives the thought, and yet when thought seems to take precedence or be important, then what is that quality that thinks there's a problem, you know what I mean? Sees the thought, and because it's only consciousness that perceives it, so then it's flavored somehow with a
well, consciousness can perceive a thought knowing itself or forgetting itself. In other words, consciousness can perceive a form, a body mind, and can perceive in its own recognition, recognizing itself as the reality of all perception.
Yeah.
Or it can perceive a form and forget itself and identify with a certain form. Like in your night dream, sometimes you're sleeping and you dream that you are a 12-year-old boy skiing in the Alps. So in that night dream, consciousness has chosen to identify itself as a 12-year-old dream character skiing in a dream space, on a dream hill, dream mountain. And in that mind event, consciousness is perceiving the dream, but in the same time, it is forgetting itself.
I guess that's the only explanation.
Yes, yes.
You know what I mean? Because the dream or the perceived stuff is still only mind, and the
Yes.
perceiver is still only consciousness, and yet the confusion somehow, or
yes. There is the confusion, which we refer to as identification, is whenever you, as consciousness, forget that you are the formless presence and identify with the body mind or identify with any form, then there is a forgetfulness of what you are. There is a forgetfulness of truth. There is a forgetfulness of reality. But not all forgetfulness is ignorance. For
Yeah, or
example,
power.
when you're playing music, you know, or when when you're on a stage playing a role, playing, you know, acting, you forget yourself and you take on a certain role. But the key thing is that once the play is over, you return to your knowingness.
Yes.
In ignorance, we take on the form of the body-mind. We identify with the body-mind, but we do not return to consciousness. We live the entire. We remain in the identification, and it gets pretty stale and unhappy after a while.
Plus is it seems to me there's the suffering element of thinking you're the character, even if it's temporary. Or no, I guess what I mean is, even if you're awake to yourself and you are in the midst of a situation or playing a role on stage, there's still some kind of a knowing at the same time, even though it's not.
Well, there is a spiritual journey. There is an inquiry into the reality of consciousness. And this inquiry leads to not just a clarity that you are consciousness, but it also disidentifies you. It disidentifies you in a way that your freedom and your eternity is revealed to you in a way that no longer leaves you. And yet you can say, hello, my name is Magdi, or hello, my name is Joe, or hello, my name is Jim, you know, yes, I do this and that, and somebody calls you and says, you know, we need you to be at that meeting at 4 o'clock. Say, okay, sure, I'll be right there. But although you're still seemingly in the dream, you no longer leave your freedom. So that's the Sahaja Samadhi. That's it. There is a process. There is a shedding. There is a shedding. There is a journey of inquiry that liberates you from that Velcro experience that keeps pulling you back to being me, being this woman, being this man, being this mother, this father, etc. It keeps pulling you back. So first we come to the glimpse that what we are is consciousness, and then there is a contemplation of what is this consciousness? How does it appear? What are its qualities? How does it live? How does it talk? How does it move? Where is it located? What are its qualities? What is its size? Where is it located? There is an interest, a growing interest into consciousness. When we have a glimpse that I am consciousness, then our interest in consciousness grows, and as our interest grows, then our familiarity and our return, it's not really a return because we never really leave consciousness, but just using that metaphoric language, our return to consciousness is facilitated. Okay, Ananda. Hello, Lawrence.
Hi.
Hello, Lawrence.
Hello. Hi, Magdi. I hope my question isn't too overgrounded.
I haven't read it. I haven't read it yet, so it could be. Let's see. So reading it, the void has brought into this consciousness a cat. During the past week, she has brought in a shrew nearly every night. What's a shrew?
Oh, it's like a mouse, if you like.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
A small rodent.
Yeah. Once or twice I have rescued. Yes. Once or twice it is dying, and I have had to end the suffering. I have 3 options. I can keep her in at night, which I have tried, and she kicks up a fuss. I can cut a hole in the garage door and put a flap and let her do what she will, or I can let her carry on as she is. I am not expecting an answer, but she has her nature, so how would you consider the options? This space neither likes running around nor killing. Thanks.
Sorry.
Yes.
It's a stink.
Well, you know, I'm reminded of this saying from I think it may be from the Upanishads, but I'm just probably not quoting it correctly, that what is real never dies or never ceases to be, and what is not real has never been, something like that. The main contemplation here is that what is real never dies. So in this world, body, mind phenomenal event, there are all sorts of events, that trees that, when a storm occurs, fall down and break, and when there is a volcanic explosion, when there is a tsunami, thousands of people are killed, crocodiles, and whenever the antelopes are crossing the river, the crocodiles try to grab a few of them to feed themselves, and yes, in the case of the cat sort of in their nature, they play. They like to grab rodents and play with them and toy with them, and so I think that you need to look into what is it that does not die, because anything that appears and disappears is meant to appear and disappear, like a fire. When you put a log in the fire, the fire is going to consume it, and it'll provide light and heat. So what's so concerned about these appearances and disappearances? Now, of course, in your own home, you may not want to have, the cat bringing rodents to your house. So in this case, I would not put a flap. I would allow the cat to go out and play. But even so, it's possible that when the cat comes back, that they may have a rodent with them. It might be disturbing for you in your house to have that, because of the gore of it, and then you have to clean up. And if you have a cat, you have to take the whole thing together. If the cat with the whole package is the cat, whatever the cat does. So you do your best with the cat being the cat, but I wouldn't be so concerned about the cat and the mouse thing. That's because that's how the design is. I mean, you know, there are, if you look at, for example, at the weather, there are some plants that were thriving 1,000 years ago. Now they're totally extinct because the heat or the sand has come and buried them, and it's human beings that were living in certain parts of this planet that became desertic, and many, you know, died out of starvation or various heat. Or this is what is eternal does not die. So you need to contemplate that is eternal, that is real, that is true. And with the cat, just, you know, love the cat and love the rodent. If at some time you have some feelings for the rodent, let him, you know, maybe you can distract the cat with a string or something, and then hopefully the mouse will run away. You can do that sometimes, but in the long run, the cat behind your back is going to continue doing the same game. It's in their nature.
Thank you, Magdi. Absolutely brilliant as ever. Thank you, members. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
So if there are any questions. You know, the cat has been gifted those claws, those retractable claws, so they can catch their prey, and the prey has also been gifted their color they sort of match in nature. You can barely see them, and their small size and their ability to sort of move really quickly. So there's a game there, you know. It's not so easy for the cat to go out and say, okay, I'm going to go to the store and grab myself a couple of mice like we do, you know. We go down to the store.
She works very hard. She works very hard. Yes, yeah. Yes, she's a struggle.
Yes,
Yes, yeah.
There is a play there, you know. It's.
I think my feelings are I have the cat, and that's the name of the game. So yeah,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely.
And everybody's giving an opportunity. The mouse is given an opportunity for being able to camouflage itself, because it's like a gray color, same color as most of the dark colors in nature, and it can move quickly, it can go underneath and the cat is given this ability to jump and claw, and so it's every species has their skills and their shortcomings, and they can play. We can play. Mouse.
Yeah, no. I'm giving this little one a reason for guilt when there isn't. Because I believe I should control it. But in this case, there's no necessity.
Yeah.
There's no reason why I can't let nature play its game. Yeah.
Sure. And then every now and then you can, you know, distract the cat with something else.
That's part of the game. Yes.
Yeah, right. You are part of the game too. Yes.
Yeah.
You play your part. You know, but again, it's a game. You see, you play your part, but it's a game. So Ananda, you're welcome. Ananda writes, there is an ex-wife in my story. We all do. Ex-husband. That's it. Ex-something. There is an ex-wife in my story with whom I have some dispute going on. Okay. I don't seem to mind that she continues to be acrimonious, but it is hard to have a loving heart space. Why, Ananda?
At the moment, at this very moment, you know, I'm thinking it's kind of similar to Lawrence and the cat in a certain way. Oh, your picture froze. I wonder if you hear me. Magdi, your picture froze. Ugh. Sandy, what do you think I should do?
Refresh the screen. Do you know how to do that?
Yeah. Try that. Because that can happen. Can anyone hear me? Maggie,
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. I think I'm. Yeah, and we're both going. So it looks like it's obviously Magdi's problem, if you see what I mean, not anyone else's.
Yeah.
Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yeah.
Hi. Yeah, his battery. He didn't have the computer plugged in, and the battery went out, and so he plugged it back in, and he's getting it back up. So it'll just take a minute.
Oh. All right.
All right.
Mm.
Is the microphone off? You have a question. That's okay.
I said ex-wife, she's not happy with me, and she's actually upset. You know, she doesn't want to talk. And I don't see any reason for that, even though we had a dispute.